A wise man once said to me, if you don't have a seat at the table, there's a chance you're on the menu.
That they will be looking at reduction of nursing positions.
Council received plans for this year's Week of Welcome, running from September 14 to 18. For the third year in a row, the week includes a citizenship ceremony in council chambers, and member municipalities are being encouraged to host open houses of their own.
This is a really important moment in time. We are, trying many different things with our Newcomers file, and welcoming people to our community is something really in the most recent days has become like pivotal and upfront for us. So I would really encourage and urge all the different towns to participate in different ways if you can, and our team can certainly support organizing something or co-organizing something with you as well.
Simcoe County Council received its annual update from the Hospital Alliance this week, and what is normally a routine funding report sparked a heated exchange. The routine part came first. Council approved $5 million in capital funding for Collingwood's hospital and $4 million for Stevenson Memorial in Alliston, with small deductions applied for ambulance offload delays. Staff also warned that provincial cuts to dedicated offload nursing funding are starting to be felt at partner hospitals.
Seeing and hearing directly from some of our partner hospitals where there was an impact associated with the decrease to $800,000 in dedicated funding, that they will be looking at reduction of nursing positions.
The controversy centered on Southlake Hospital in Newmarket. Bradford West Gwillimbury Mayor James Leduc took strong exception to a June decision that left Southlake out of Alliance funding, calling it a hospital that thousands of Simcoe County residents depend on.
Just unacceptable what happened. I have asked how that recommendation got in that report, and I have not got a clear answer on that as of yet. It was told to me that the Alliance made that decision. They made that recommendation. I have spoke to multiple Alliance CAOs, and they knew nothing about this, and the chair knew nothing about this. So
he was not alone. Bradford Deputy Mayor Raj Sandu said his emails to staff about the decision have gone unanswered and pressed for the confusion to be cleared up.
Staff could reconsider it because it's concerning to me, and I did not speak with any members of the Alliance Committee that when someone says this recommendation came from the Alliance and they're saying we don't know about it, that must be cleared.
In the end, the funding motion carried with opposition recorded, and staff committed to returning with a report on offload times and on future changes to the Alliance funding model. Simcoe County Council also worked through 2 corporate services items with local implications. A letter from the Rescue Lake Simcoe Coalition urging stronger protections for the lake was referred to staff, who will report back on which of its recommendations the county can act on. Council then approved Midlands Official Plan Amendment number 3. The amendment had drawn concerns from residents about species at risk and archaeological studies, and staff say those issues will be addressed through later planning stages if a development application ever comes forward.
This again, I'll reiterate, is not the town's land. It never was. And all the Planning Act boxes are checked, and there's commitments in the future to make sure that these concerns are dealt with accordingly.
The future of water and wastewater services sparked a lengthy debate. The province has posted a proposal exploring public corporation models for delivering these services, and staff recommended the county formally express its interest. Ontario is already restructuring Peel Region's system, and staff say Simcoe is widely believed to be next in line. Supporters pointed to Edmonton's IPCOR as proof a utility corporation can work. Not everyone was convinced. Skeptics warn Peel is still years from sorting out its own restructuring, questioned yet another consultant study, and worried the process could end in private ownership of water systems. One councillor said the county has studied this before and nothing came of it.
I am one of those who is not in favor of this. I feel there's so many details that we don't know. Peel Region is the guinea pig in all of this, and I haven't. They're taking years to sort this out. There's a lot of details that have, with concerns expressed by the Association of the Finance Treasurers in our municipality. I'm a little bit suspicious of the end game here. The province has been implementing so many things so quickly. It's hard to really understand where all of this will end up.
Stop stress. The response commits the county to nothing. It's a request for a seat at the table before the province decides for them.
A wise man once said to me, if you don't have a seat at the table, there's a chance you're on the menu.
Council agreed, passing the motion with a handful opposed. A consultant's report comparing governance models is expected back in September. Following is the coverage of the county meeting.
We're going to move on to item 23 on our agenda, folks. This is let's see here. It is 23.1, the 2026 Welcome, or Week of Welcome. The Week of Welcome. All right, Mina, do you have anything you want to add to that? GM Fayez Bigot.
Thank you, Chair Measures. Just, again, our annual Week of Welcome is coming up. So this report walks you through the full week. We are always, now will be the third year in a row, we'll be doing a citizenship ceremony during the week as well, hosted in our council chambers, which is a really lovely event. So if you are interested in attending, please let our team know and we can make arrangements. Just a reminder, this is a really important moment in time. We are, trying many different things with our newcomers file and welcoming people to our community is something really in the most recent days has become pivotal and upfront for us. So I would really encourage and urge all the different towns to participate in different ways if you can. And our team can certainly support organizing something or co-organizing something with you as well. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Perhaps, Councillor, are there any questions? Members, any questions? All right, looking forward to this for this terrific program. Councillor Cabral, would you like to move this? Councillor Burkett, would you be the seconder? Thank you. And it will be that item CCW 2026-212, dated August 11, 2026, regarding the 2026 Week of Welcome be received, and that member municipalities be encouraged to host a municipal open house during the Week of Welcome, taking place September the 14, 2026 to September the 18, 2026. Nothing further. All those in favor? Thank you. That seems to carry. And so we're going to move to item 24, which is our long-term care committee of management. We do have sort of a little mini crisis that happened, and Director Sinclair would like to take a moment just to tell us a little bit about CCW 2026-228 regarding the replacement of boilers. Are you there, GM Sinclair?
Yes, thank you very much, Mr. Chair. Good morning, everyone. This is regarding two of the boilers located at the Georgian Manor and Georgian Village campus location. We've had a premature failure of one of the boilers. The boiler itself has been discontinued. And so we can't actually source parts, replacement parts, et cetera. And we have a second boiler in the retirement home of similar nature that we're recommending we also replace. And at the very least, we can use for parts for some of the other boilers in hand. So our manager of maintenance and facilities, Mr. Matthew Stuangi, has been overseeing this component. He's been working closely with our procurement to source replacement, more sophisticated boilers with a much better longevity and available parts, et cetera. So we are asking through this report to fund the replacement of these boilers through reserve contributions and reprioritization of some of our capital projects this year intended for Georgian. I'll stop there and happy to respond to any questions.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Thank you for your leadership there by Mr. Stuangi as well. Are there any members with any questions about this report and this issue that's ongoing? I'm not seeing anybody. Very good. So Perhaps I can ask Councillor LaRose, would you like to move that? Thank you. Councillor Bell would be the seconder, and the item is CCW 2026-228, dated August 11, 2026, regarding the emergency replacement of boilers at Georgian Village and Manor be received, and that the funds for the capital heating boiler replacements at the Georgian Village and Manor be transferred from reserves as outlined in item CCW 2026-228. Anything further? I'll call the motion then. All in favor? And that carries. Thank you. We move to item 25, Your Worship, which is Human Services, Other Matters for Consideration. We do have an item in here. This is regarding the Simcoe County Hospital Alliance update. We have a report here and some several pieces of information that GM Sinclair would like to discuss. I would like to go to Councillor Prost, whoever it is. She has a question, I believe. Go ahead.
Hi, actually, I don't have a question, and I don't really believe that I have a direct conflict, pardon me, but to be safe, I'd rather declare conflict for 2025 or 25.1.
Fair enough.
Because I work at Georgian Bay General Hospital.
To be honest, I thought of you as I was reading it out loud, so thank you very much.
I've been contemplating for a couple days, but I think it's just safer, and my vote's not going to change anything, so we're safe either way.
Fair enough. Let's ask the clerk to record that, and thank you for stepping aside on this issue.
Thank you.
Okay, and okay, so I have some hands already up here. I haven't even got to GM Sinclair yet, but I'll take Councillor Fryer first. Please go right ahead.
And Chair, I apologize. I heard you say that my hand was already up, and I can certainly wait until the general manager has a chance to speak to us.
Okay, let's go to the general manager first, folks. GM Sinclair, do you want to speak about this?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair. So this is the annual report submitted by the Hospital Alliance. They send a letter to the warden requesting the amounts from the prior year capital expenses. For this period, 2025, there are two requests that have come forward. One is for the Collingwood General Marine Hospital for $5 million, and the second is for the Alliston Stevenson Memorial Hospital for $4 million. As part of our annual process, we also review, as per the memorandums of understanding with each of the hospitals, the offload delay times. And there's a slight variance from the 30 minutes target for each of the hospitals, with an amount being deducted from their proportional shares of $18,000 for Collingwood and $1,300 for the Stevenson Memorial Hospital. And I will note the offload times have been maintained quite well across the board. However, we will be providing council with a future report with an update on offload times. We understand there are some staffing changes as a result of that decrease dedicated offload funding. So we'll keep council updated on that matter. And the final note with this report is separate from the annual funding requests, just as follow-up, staff will be coming back with a future report to County Council following the June presentation and report regarding the changes to the funding alliance policy that is intended to commence at the end of the current term, as all funds have been committed at this point of the $45 million that ends in 2031. So staff will bring a report back in future for consideration of council with those changes beginning in 2032. And I'll stop there. Happy to answer any questions.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. And glad to see that the program is helping our alliance right across the whole area. So we're going to go to Councillor Fryer first. I have Councillor Leduc, and looking for other members if they would like to ask a question. So Councillor Fryer, please go right ahead.
Thank you, Chair Measures, and thank you to General Manager Sinclair for her update on the report. And you do mention that there's going to be another report come, and you did refer to the area that I was going to ask, just get a little bit of clarity on if I could. because table 4 on page 4 of the report is that slight adjustment. It's $18,000. It's certainly not material against the overall funding of $5 million. But I was looking at the explanation that's provided underneath the table, and it refers to the fact that due to a change in funding, and we get our funding provincially for the dedicated offload nursing program, that CGMH received no funding for the program, and they were able to maintain it for a period of time by the looks of it. But there's a concern in the last sentence, because it says that they're not able to maintain the same staff level going forward, and it's resulting in increasing in times nearing the end of the fiscal year. And as I said, the 18,000 I don't look at as material, but if we are decreasing their funding in the first place, and that's causing maybe some of the result that we see, it's kind of a double hit. And I'm just trying to maybe find out if there's any concern that this could get to be a material amount that is having to be clawed back because of the MOU. And I didn't have a chance to send anything in advance to ask General Manager Sinclair about this, and I apologize for that.
Through you, Mr. Chair, thank you for the questions. We are seeing and hearing directly from some of our partner hospitals where there was an impact associated with the decrease to 800,000 in dedicated funding, that they will be looking at reduction of nursing positions as a result of not having the dedicated funding. So we do anticipate that in several of our partner hospitals, there may be further deterioration in future. We have continued to maintain advocacy with the Ministry of Health on this issue. We have not yet received notice of our next fiscal year funding. It typically arrives at the end of August, early September. So we have not received the next notice period as yet. However, we do have this as an advocacy issue, and I know I believe we have a delegation with the Minister of Health, our senior staff at the upcoming AMO conference, and will certainly be continuing to advocate with the warden on how important this funding is. Perhaps if I can suggest to council, when we bring forward an update with the funding and the offload times across all of our partner hospitals, at that time, council may wish to consider the memorandum of understanding and whether they wish to put a temporary pause subject to increased dedicated offload funding if council wishes to consider that option.
All right, thank you very much. Tim, did you have something else?
Could I just, as a follow-up, just say really appreciate that update. That's good information to have, especially going to be at AMO, and if I get any chance whatsoever to get speaking to a ministry personnel in our local MPP, I'll make sure to point out that the work that staff are doing on getting prepared to be coming back to the province. So that's great. Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you very much, Councillor Fryer. Councillor Leduc is next. Are there any others? Okay, please go right ahead, James.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just want to go on record that Bradford West Gwillimbury cannot support the Hospital Alliance anymore, based on the decision made on June 23rd with report 2026-188. Not funding Southlake was a critical issue for Bradford West Gwillimbury. Our residents spoke out very clearly about that. They were not happy with the decision. When you look at I have multiple stats on how important that hospital is to our Simcoe County residents, and this is just unacceptable what happened. I have asked how that recommendation got in that report, and I have not got a clear answer on that as of yet. It was told to me that the Alliance made that decision. They made that recommendation. I have spoke to multiple Alliance CAOs, and they knew nothing about this, and the chair knew nothing about this. So I don't know how that got in the E&I report, the E&Y report, but I am working to see how that got there and how we can remove that, because Southlake is part of the Hospital Alliance and should continue to be part of the Hospital Alliance. If it doesn't, Bradford West Gwillimbury have to make a decision on how we support this Hospital Alliance moving forward. Money from Bradford goes to this Hospital Alliance. 10% of that money goes to the from Bradford West Gwillimbury, and not to support Southlake is a critical mistake in my mind. It's a very important hospital to not only Bradford, but to New Tech and other surrounding communities that visit Southlake. I have multiple stats here that show that that hospital is critical to Simcoe County and our residents. So I want to be on record that I cannot support this report today, and I will not support the Southlake Alliance or the Hospital Alliance in the future if we don't change that recommendation. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your comments, James. Are there others? I see. Oh, Councillor Sandu. Yes, go ahead, Raj.
Thank you, Chair. I would have to agree with Councillor Leduc. I was not at the meeting, but after speaking with Councillor Leduc and the alternate Councillor Verkuyk, I was not happy, and I felt like we did not have the answers. I sent an email to staff, copied CAO and Warden on it. I have yet to get a reply on it. As Councillor Leduc mentioned, Southlake is Bradford's hospital. Thousands of people, thousands of visits from Bradford West Gwillimbury go to Southlake, but these are the Simcoe County residents. Not to have Southlake included in the funding is a disappointment, to say the least. And I hope this council or staff could reconsider it, because it's concerning to me, and I did not speak with any members of the Alliance Committee that when someone says this recommendation came from the Alliance and they're saying we don't know about it, that must be cleared. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Councillor Sandu. Are there other questions to the report or to the staff regarding this report? All right, seeing none, I will look for a mover and seconder on this motion. Perhaps Councillor Gordon and Councillor Rawson, that item CCW 2026-214, dated August 11, 2026, regarding the Simcoe County Hospital Alliance update be received, and that the 2025 capital funding be provided to Collingwood General and Marine Hospital and Stevenson Memorial Hospital, subject to the terms and conditions as outlined within item CCW 2026-214. Are there any other questions on this issue? Seeing none, I will call the motion. All in favor? And are there opposed? And I will record that, and thank you. That motion does carry. I believe at this time, Your Worship, I can pass the chair back to you, and you can carry on with the rest of the meeting. I want to thank everyone for their patience, and good luck with the internet working here today. Your Worship, go ahead.
All right, thank you, Chair Measures. I'll thank the city reps for joining us, and enjoy the rest of your day. Why don't we take a 10-minute bio break for everybody? We've been at it an hour and a half. Freshen up your coffees, and we'll be back here at 10:40. Before I hand it over, I will mention that when we go back into County Council, we will pull that one item from Human Services where Councillor Prost had a conflict. We'll have a separate vote on that particular item. So with that, I will hand it over to Corporate Services Chair Dolan, please.
Thank you, Warden. Thanks, everyone. So we're on the corporate services consent item, which is item number 26. And that is the letter dated June the 15th from Rescue Lake Simcoe Coalition regarding Protect Our Plan. And would ask if there's any questions or comments on this item before we move to approve. Councillor Leduc.
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. I would like to pull this letter and provide a recommendation, if you don't mind. If I could maybe read it now, is that okay, Madam Chair? Or?
Absolutely, go ahead.
Okay. The recommendation is that the letter dated June 15, 2026 from Lake Simcoe or Rescue Lake Simcoe Coalition regarding Protect Our Plan from good goals to practical progress be referred to staff for further assess the recommendations and report back on their applicability to the county operations and services. So just wanting to refer this back to staff so they can come with a report in the future on this letter. Lake Simcoe was a pretty important part of our overall county, and I was hoping that we could ask staff to give us a report back. So thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Councillor Leduc. And do you have a seconder for your motion? It's seconded by Councillor Sandu. I'm going to ask members of committee, do we need that on a screen? Are we okay with the recommendation? Understand the recommendation on the floor and ask if there's any questions or comments. Seeing none, I'll call for the vote then. All those in favor of the recommendation? Any opposed? That is carried. Thank you very much. Next is item 27, which is corporate services planning. And it is in regards to the request for approval for the Town of Midland's official plan amendment number 3. Any revised recommendations, questions, comments on this item? Seeing none, if I could ask for a mover and a seconder, please. Moved by Councillor Gordon and seconded by Councillor Cabral, that item CCW 2026-207 dated August 11th, 2026 regarding request for approval, Town of Midland official plan amendment number 3 be received, and that official plan amendment number 3 to the Town of Midland official plan adopted by Town of Midland bylaw 2025-66 and as modified by Schedule 4 to item CCW 2026-207 be approved, and that notice of decision of official plan amendment number 3 to the Town of Midland official plan be provided in accordance with the Planning Act. Councillor Gordon, your hand's still up. Did you want to comment?
Yes, thank you. I just wanted to thank staff for a very comprehensive report. They worked in tandem with our planning staff to make sure there was synergy and alignment to make sure all our ducks were in a row. And I also wanted to thank the residents who expressed their concerns to both myself, town staff, I think SSEA, the county. Like, there were some very outspoken, deeply concerned residents about concerns around species at risk and archaeological studies. And I think both our responses to them, the SSEA's response and the county's summary in this report addresses that those concerns are valid and doesn't negate them in the slightest, and provides a structured path forward where some of the concerns around archaeological will be dealt with in subsequent processes under the planning stages, when and if this property is ever the subject of a development application, which is not before us at the moment. So I just wanted to thank the members of the community who participated in this process, and hopefully their concerns are validated through this report and the reports that we provided in our municipality. Although some people are never happy with change and development, this, again, I'll reiterate, is not the town's land. It never was, and all the Planning Act boxes are checked, and there's commitments in the future to make sure that these concerns are dealt with accordingly. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Gordon. Any other questions or comments on this item? Seeing none, all those in favor of the recommendation? Any opposed? That carries. Thank you. Next, we'll move to item 27.2, and that's an update on supporting strategic growth and infrastructure. Sorry, strategic growth and infrastructure. Questions or comments on this item? Councillor Leduc.
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. And I'm actually in support of this report, and I think it's a pretty critical report. It talks about water, wastewater, municipal corporation, and to me, I've been a supporter of the EPCOR model for a long time. I went out a long time ago to FCM out in Edmonton years ago. I was out there again this year, spoke, there was a speaker for EPCOR there. EPCOR is a very successful corporation. It has $17 billion in assets. It generates about $3.5 billion in revenue, and a cost of about $1.7 billion was mentioned to us at the FCM conference. To me, and they're in 4 different states in the states itself, in the U.S., and they're in multiple provinces across Canada. This is something that I think is very important for this county moving forward, to actually look at that. We went through this. I think back in 2014, we had a working group to talk about doing services like this, potentially opening up a municipal corporate service agreement. So I am absolutely in favor of this, and I think it's something that we should have done way back. And I say that we should be looking at this as an opportunity for us to run the EPCOR model here. You can see that the province is moving with Peel. They're going to be moving. I don't know if they've made the announcement yet. I'm not sure, Madam Chair, if they've made that, but I know they're going to be breaking Peel away their water, wastewater. So I've heard that we are next on the list. So I think it's important that we really delve into this and potentially set up our own corporate structure, corporation, municipal services corporation, that we can manage our own water and wastewater services right here in the county, and potentially become a successful system as like EPCOR. So I'm in support of this report. I know it's a big financial issue where it comes to, in the report, it talks about $1 billion. But to me, this would be an asset to our residents of Simcoe County. So absolutely in support of making comments to that ERO. Thanks.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments on this item? Councillor Cox.
Yeah, excuse me. I was just wondering on the Action 4 of the report, noting that the findings of the report are coming in September 2026. Who is the currently hired for that? The consultant? Sorry, did I miss something somewhere?
GM Elliott.
Thank you, through you, Chair. To answer Councillor Cox's question, we're working with Ernst & Young on different models, looking at the Municipal Service Corporation model versus a Public Utility Corporation model. The report is still in its final draft stages yet. We think we know where it'll land, but it's not been finalized at this point.
Okay, thank you. And another one I have is, when we're looking at this water, wastewater, are we looking at sludge? You knew I was going to come up with that one.
So thank you. And through the chair, there's a couple things that are actively being pursued right now. We're looking at septage, which so the public can understand, that means disposal of private septic systems being hauled to municipal treatment plants. We're looking at options for that. But equally important, we're looking at treatment options for leachate from our landfill sites as well. Yes. We do have some pinch points around that, but there are some options available to the county. So all of those items are being considered through the work we're doing right now.
So may I go through the chair back to Mr. Elliott, GM Elliott. Rob, so is this septage separate from this wastewater? And do we have a consultant coming in like Dylan or someone for that? Or are we just looking at it on our own?
Through the chair, to answer your question, we're working with our local partners on leachate. Septage is going to be done separately. The work we've engaged with Ernst & Young on is specific to evolving the service delivery model for water, wastewater. It's really looking at the governance, financing, and long-term planning around infrastructure. I mean, I think it's fair to say that looking at how the long-term plan could accommodate those would be part of that work we would entertain with the province. Right. But specifically, septage and leachate would be dealt with separately from what Ernst & Young has done.
Okay, thank you. And the other one I have is we have now a distinction between the north and the south with COPA 7 in. And so even at the priorities, it all seems to be aimed at the south growth. And so any future MSC would really need governance and funding structure that would ensure that the north municipalities receive fair consideration and are not consistently secondary to the needs of the larger growth communities. And I'm going to be very honest with you, at this time, I can't support this. I think I understand that we're looking at it. I understand that we need more information, but I think the more information would have been a meeting to clarify and go through all this with everyone. I went to the AMO roundtables, and I still have some deep concerns that in the end it could be private, and I just would like more backup information and more information on how this will all work. And I don't know, maybe everyone else is way up to speed on it, but those are two of my concerns. And the other one is the governance of rates and long-term priorities. And the other one is there's municipalities out there that have spent a lot of money on their systems. And I don't know how that works. So those are just my comments. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Cox. I had Councillor Burkett and then Councillor Hamlin.
Thank you, through Madam Chair. So my 16 years here, I think this will be the third report that we're going to get on a wastewater plan. How is this one going to be different from the other two that I think there's been two that we've done. I remember one for sure, but we all are facing the same problem as municipalities. And I've conveyed this to MPP Saunderson. The companies that are bidding on these jobs, and I'll give you Collingwood, for example, went from, I think at one point it was a $70 million upgrade. Now we're at well over 200 million. Wouldn't it be more constructive to look at how do we as a county hire someone to build these rather than go through this whole process again? Because I'd like to know what the difference is. What's going to change today by doing what's in the report from what we've had over the previous reports that have come to county council? And I'm sorry, Rob, I should have given you the heads up. My apologies, but there's a huge cost that for these consultants, and we all spend taxpayers' dollars on consulting firms to go out there, and I don't even know what the cost is going to be, and I don't even know what the costs were before for these consultants, and we file these reports, and that's all we do. We just keep spending money, and nothing ever gets done. I'm sorry again for bringing it up, but it's upsetting to see the monies that we do spend on things that we never follow through with.
GM Elliott.
Thank you, through the chair. And Councillor Burkett, very fair question. I completely understand and agree with a lot of what you've said. I think the difference we have now is we've got a provincial government that's keenly interested in making changes. They are talking in a great amount of detail around public utility corporations as a different service delivery mechanism. And really what that means is looking at different ways of funding long-term investments. Instead of being 100% reliant on either grants and development charges or a very limited number of resources, it's my understanding the province is looking at bringing in other forms of equity to help support long-term investments. Their goal is to help enable housing. I think we would all understand that as well. And by the county being at the table, we would like to influence that decision, how it would impact the county, so that we can understand and make sure that any decisions that are made by the province are well informed by the local circumstances here at the county of Simcoe. And it might not be that there's one public utility across the entire county. Maybe we have to look at the geographies. We're not quite there yet. But we are a vastly different organization and geography than, say, a Peel region. So I think it's very, very important that we, along with our local municipalities, be at the table with the province to inform the decisions that I think are likely to come around that evolution of the service delivery model. And as Councillor Leduc pointed out, I've also heard a keen interest in an EPCOR style model. And I think there's an opportunity to influence that to make sure that our residents and our developers equally benefit in the long term for the county's long-term growth strategies.
Go ahead, Councillor Burkett.
Thank you. Thank you. Supplementary through you, Madam Chair. So, Rob, did the province reach out to us to look at this, or is this something that we're doing on our own? And I agree, something needs to be done, and I want to support what the province is trying to do. And we all face the same struggles. I look at the monies that have already been given, whether it's Tay, Ramera, Collingwood, Clearview, and we even got $8 million, which is great. And I can't thank the province enough, but it isn't covering the costs to build these and upgrade these wastewater plants. There's just no mechanism to retrieve any of those monies without funding. So if this document or study is going to help, and provide that information to the province so that we can get more money to upgrade these plants, that's wonderful. And we can build more of those homes. And I'm hoping that's what it may or may not do. But if you need help from us to lobby the ministers, I'm happy to do so. And as I said, Brian's ministers, he's not a minister, MPP Saunderson, it was very receptive and understood the problems only because he was the mayor of Collingwood and understood the huge challenges they had. It's just a comment. Like I just struggle with the amount of monies that may I ask, what's this going to cost us to do this study? Do we know what the consultant's going to charge us?
Jim Elliott.
Sure. The work we're doing with Ernst & Young has been had an upset limit set at about $40,000. And I couldn't agree with you more, Councillor Burkett. And it's something I've been speaking to for quite a long time. Even though the county's not in the business of building infrastructure, we do have an infrastructure at the Lake Simcoe Regional Airport. And some of those numbers are higher than you would expect for the amount of water and wastewater we treat there as well. So it's something that's not lost on me. I would also think that as we worked with the province on this, I'd like for them to understand that it's important to look at ways of reducing the costs of these infrastructures. I think that there's probably a limited number of companies that are competent or qualified to build these types of plants. I think that that's a role that the ministry could play in looking at ways of reducing the costs. So that's a message we would bring to the table as well. I think that's very, very important, and that's not new to us at all or lost on us. But again, I just want to reiterate, I think it's very, very important that we are at the table to convey our message rather than have something done to the county or our local municipalities without it being properly informed. And that's why this work is ever so important. So hopefully that helps answer some of those questions.
Thank you. Councillor Hanlon.
Thank you, Chair. I am one of those who is not in favor of this. I feel there's so many details that we don't know. Peel Region is the guinea pig in all of this, and I haven't, they're taking years to sort this out. There's a lot of details that have, with concerns expressed by the Association of the Finance Treasurers in our municipalities. I would love to see Peel sorted first. And that's what I had understood when the project started in Peel. They would be the test case. It would all get sorted. We'd all be happy. And then we can see what we're getting into. I'm a little bit suspicious of the end game here. The province has been implementing so many things so quickly. It's hard to really understand where all of this will end up. I know the EPCOR model is, we'd all like our county to be, billionaire, wealthy, wise, but let's not assume we're going to be an EPCOR model and that all the riches are ahead of us. I feel we should be taking our time, making sure this is something we want to get into, and making sure that there's actually a system out there that can work when there's so many municipalities in Simcoe County that would have to buy into this. Even in Peel Region, there's only 3. We're 16. And I know just even in our end of the county, our needs, assets, debt, liability, and so on are all so different. So anyway, I'm a cautious sort. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor. Councillor Fryer.
Thank you, Chair Dolan. And I just wanted to, actually, the one thing I wanted to do, Councillor Burkett brought up, and there was a significant delta between the initial thought of the cost to what it ended up being. But I wanted to just say the 70 million, and it may not have been exactly that, but it's certainly in that kind of an area. That was in 2022 dollars. We found that out when we got in the new term. So it was never ever really a number that was realistic from what it was going to cost in the long run. I still think even if they had estimated to when it's being built now and completion, they probably would have been under in their estimation, because we all know how significantly costs escalated since COVID and through COVID. So I just wanted to say that, because I do get a little bit bristly when I hear that 70 number, because it was never really a number that was realistic, so to speak. So I just wanted to say that about that. Collingwood's familiar with EPCOR because, of course, we sold the electric utility to EPCOR, and they've been operating it very successfully for the last 6 years. I'm not a proponent for EPCOR ownership of water and wastewater, and we made that clear during the transaction on the electric. I do support, though, that the county needs to be going through this exercise with the province to better understand what the situation is going to be once it's introduced in Peel. I think, if I remember correctly, the introduction is going to be in the 2029 range. So I think that gathering information that'll be part of the report that comes back that GM Elliott's been speaking on, when we're looking at the various options, because I've always said this in Collingwood's case, we can do an MSC tomorrow, and we just don't see a need to do it. We can get the things done that would do anyway. But I do have a problem. I understand that the province is looking for financing alternatives. I just don't want it to result in private ownership of water and wastewater, especially in our region. And that's the thing. Simcoe County does represent the Simcoe County region, and I think for that reason needs to be at the table to understand what the situation is, and actually report back to the lower tier municipalities on what they think could be the outcome and how it could influence the situation in the local municipalities. So those are my comments. I am support of the recommendation.
Thank you, Councillor. Councillor Sandu.
Thank you, Chair. Perhaps maybe you or GM Elliott can correct me if I'm wrong. My understanding is this recommendation is just asking for us to be at the table, have a seat at the table for discussion. This is not committing the county to any model or any ownership as of yet. It's just a starting point or a discussion point. Is that correct, GM Elliott?
GM Elliott?
Yes, thank you. Through the chair to Councillor Sandu. You're correct. The ERO posting asks for any municipality that's interested in discussing this opportunity with the province to respond to that posting. And that's exactly what we're doing. This is non-committal at this point. But as I mentioned earlier, we've also heard that they're focusing on Peel, but Simcoe is of keen interest to them as the next in line. So we feel it's incredibly important to show up to the table and help influence anything that they might want to do. So responding to the ERO posting is simply asking for a seat at the table and expressing an interest in that ongoing dialogue.
Thank you for that, Jim Elliott, and that's what I thought, because it is so important. If someone else is going to make a decision on behalf of us, we need to be at the table, and once we are at the table, anything discussed that would come back to county council, whether they want to proceed or not. So I want to thank you for explaining that. Thank you. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Councillor Sandu. A wise man once said to me, if you don't have a seat at the table, there's a chance you're on the menu. Councillor Measures.
Well, thank you, Chair Dolan. I certainly hope that Clearview is not on the menu. But thank you for bringing that point. Listen, I'm generally in favor of this report, and I'm generally in favor of the county investigating this. Action item number 3 on the report is the one that struck to me, that I think that we need to allow and ask our staff to do a good research on this and to determine the viability of actually operating or creating some type of operating of wastewater servicing. And I also have a fundamental belief too that we're all sharing the natural resources that are provided to us here in our country, whether it be the Great Lakes or Lake Simcoe or any of our waterways. We share them all. They're all impacting all of us, whether they travel through one community and terminate at another community. And so I think that when it comes to servicing and serviceability, we have to work together and respect the fact that cross-border servicing must exist. There are many municipalities that are in Simcoe County. Ours in Clearview, of course, is one of them that is definitely landlocked from a major water source. And so having that outfall for wastewater treatment is a critical part of us having the ability to grow. And so working with our neighbors in Wasaga Beach, working with our neighbors in Collingwood, who both have excellent access to Georgian Bay and Lake Huron, we want to continue to have those relationships between our neighboring municipalities. But we have to be clear, all of this, water and wastewater servicing, is not a profit center. The EPCOR model is successful because they work on such a slim profit margin, and very, very slim. And so that's one of the reasons that they are successful, is the fact that they provide a service that's absolutely needed, and they cover their costs through their fees that are charged, etc. And that's exactly what we do with our water and wastewater servicing. We produce fresh water. We have a cost to produce it. We calculate out the price per cubic meter of water that we produce, and that's the rates that we apply to it, so we can recover the cost to actually operate and build future plants. So I think that it's very appropriate that this tier of government, the county, investigate this, look at this, bring back a report to future decision makers, and to be very aware of what's going on in other areas across our province, particularly in Peel, as we're now aware. So I think that I'm in support of this recommendation as it stands, and I look forward to the work that the staff are going to do to produce this information. I would just throw up one flag of caution and support what Councillor Burkett was saying, because we don't really know how much this is going to cost to do this type of work. So I appreciate what you're saying there, Mike, but I do think it's important that we look at this for the health of our communities, to use our wastewater systems and our freshwater producing systems to the best ability to protect the environment and to provide those services that people need. So generally I'm in favor of it, and I'm also in favor of obviously cross-border servicing options that are available right across the area. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Measures. Warden Clark.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just want to remind, a lot said here, so I'll just remind Council, we are under a regional review right now. I mean, we've dealt with COPA 7. You've seen the province deal with the governance. And South Simcoe with the mapping that's going on, and now they're shining the light on servicing. And I think the ERO posting says it right there. The chances of our servicing staying the way it is now is 0% is what I would say. I'll give you the benefit of the doubt, maybe 1%. No, they're looking for changes here. And we really need to be at the table. I would love to see Simcoe County form something like an EPCOR model, as opposed to these public utility models that we could end up with possibly no control over at all. I think we need to do the studies, be at the table. EPCOR is a great organization. I wouldn't even mind working with them, but I don't want to see them own our assets. So that's why I truly believe we need to work on this study and have a plan, something forward. I wish I can guarantee that it would come back to this House. It may not. The province may just make the decision and hand it down. And that's a fear that we all have as well. So I think we're better to be prepared with a solid plan that we can present and say, look what we can accomplish working together, and have something that makes sense to the province that they will entrust us to carry on. So thank you.
Thank you, Warden Clark. I'm just going to take a moment here, if I could, and with the permission of the House, I'd like to put on my Mayor of Innisfil hat instead of my corporate Simcoe County hat for a moment. Innisfil has a municipal services corporation. We just celebrated our 10th birthday. And I should have known this, and I didn't. We were the first in Ontario to structure a municipal services corporation. And happy to share, the do's and the don'ts, the pitfalls and the successes of the last decade with the province and anyone else who wants to listen. Having said that, the Wastewater Public Corporation and the MSC are two kind of different beasts, although formed for the same reason, to attract investment, and as I like to put it, take the politics out of the pipes. Let's make our area as efficient as possible, regardless of where there's lines on a map. And the reason I do support this is I do believe we need a seat at the table, particularly in Simcoe County's case, because we're starting from scratch. All of the my understanding is the other regions, 8 of them, water and wastewater treatment is at the upper tier level. So they already own all those assets. I believe the lower tier municipalities have some responsibility for the distribution systems as they grow, but not the treatment. So that's not the case in Simcoe County, and we're the only one captured in this review. We were the only county that would have that. I want to call it a disadvantage. It could be an advantage, but I also very interested in how the separated cities fit into this model. If there's any collaboration there, so I think this is, I don't think it's really his choice, as the warden said. This is a situation where there's an error posting, and do we want to be silent or do we want to contribute? And my vote's to contribute. I'm seeing no other hands, but if there's anyone else, I'm seeing none. So I'm going to ask for a mover and a seconder for the recommendation as printed in the agenda, and that's moved by Deputy Warden Coughlin and seconded by Councillor Mike Smith, that item CCW 2026-229, dated August the 11th, 2026, regarding an update on supporting strategic growth and infrastructure, be received, and that the County of Simcoe respond to the Province of Ontario's ERO posting 026-0419 by expressing a potential interest in implementing a water wastewater public corporation model, and that the annual priority project surge capacity fund be extended for an additional 3 years, funded through a combination of development charges, application fees, and the Planning and Economic Development Reserve, and that staff proceed with the recommendation as generally outlined in item CCW 2026-229. Councillor Measures. You're on mute, sir.
Yeah, sorry. No, the hand went up again when I put up my hand to.
Oh, sorry. Okay.
It's great software, isn't it, when it works?
You've got gremlins in your computer today, Councillor. I'm seeing no other hands, so I'm just going to call the vote then. Please, all those in favor of the recommendation. Sorry, I can't see mine. There it is. There it is. Any opposed to the recommendation? We have 2 opposed, 3 opposed. I'm not sure if it carried anyway. All right, so that is carried, and we'll move on to the next item, please, which is item 28.1, waste facility hours. Is there anyone who wanted to speak to this item? Councillor Cabral? You're on mute, Councillor. Oh, you didn't want to speak to this item, I'm guessing.
I'm sorry, my screen is not on the right screen, and I was trying to get it back and my hand was still up. I apologize for that.
That's okay. Anyone want to speak to this item on the waste facility hours? Going once, going twice? Wow, I don't think we've ever had a waste issue go forward without any comments, but I'll take it. Mover and a seconder for this item, please. Councillor Cox and Councillor Miskimans, that item CCW 2026-217 dated August the 11th, 2026 regarding waste facility hours be received and that current normal hours of operation at all waste facilities remain unchanged. All those in favor? Any opposed? That is carried. Next is item 29.1, and it's a letter dated June the 22nd from Severn Sound Environmental Association, the Lake Simcoe Region Conservation Authority regarding amendments to the South Georgian Bay Lake Simcoe Source Protection Plan. Comments or questions on this item? Seeing none, can I ask for a mover and a seconder, please? Moved by Councillor Evans, seconded by Councillor Greenlaw, that the correspondence dated June 22nd, 2026 from Melissa Carruthers, Severn Sound Environmental Association, and Bill Thompson, Lake Simcoe Regional Conservation Authority regarding amendments to South Georgian Bay Lake Simcoe Source Protection Plan, notification of consultation pursuant to Section 34-2 and 34 Sub 3 of the Clean Water Act 2006 and Ontario Regulation 28707 be received for information, and that the County Council endorse the proposed amendments to the Township of Tiny chapter of the Severn Sound Source Protection Area Assessment Report, as well as the South Georgian Bay Lake Simcoe Source Protection Plan outlining and the amendments to South Georgian Bay Lake Simcoe Source Protection Plan, notification of consultation pursuant to Section 34 Sub 2 and 34.3 of the Clean Water Act and Ontario Regulation 28707 for the correspondence dated June 22nd, 2026, and that SSEA and LSRCA be notified of County Council's decision. All those in favor of the recommendation? Any opposed? That is carried. Are there any other matters of consideration for corporate services today? I'm seeing none. I'll pass it back to you.
Thank you, Chair Dolan, and you're setting a record on waste management, I'll say. Certainly now I'll turn it over to Chair Evans for performance management.
Thank you, Your Worship, and good morning, everybody. How you doing? Two items to start off with under consent for performance management. The first is a letter dated June 30th, 2026 from the Western Ontario Wardens Caucus regarding resuming Ontario property assessment cycle. And the second is the Buy Ontario Act. Some of you are already probably familiar with this, Public Sector Procurement 2025 and implications for municipalities. Can I, any comments or questions on these two consent items? I'd like to speak to them. Warden Clark, please.
Yeah, I would like to see us endorse the Western Wardens letter that they've sent us.
Okay. Seconder for that? Councillor Dolan, thank you. Any discussion on that item? I think it's pretty straightforward. So I've got a couple screens here. I just want to make sure I got everybody. Okay, good. So we'll have a motion to send a letter confirming our concurrence with the letter dated June 30th, 2026 from the Western Ontario Wardens Caucus regarding resuming Ontario property assessment cycle. All those in favor? Those opposed? That motion is carried, and then I'll just have a quick motion, a recommendation to receive as information. The Buy Ontario Act that I just mentioned. Any discussion on that one? Pretty straightforward. Kind of a mover and a seconder, please. Councillor Fryer, thank you. Seconded by Councillor Cabral. All those in favor? Any opposed? Thank you very much. That motion is carried as well.
For Simcoe Community Media, I'm Deepak Bidwai. This story was supported by the Local Journalism Initiative.